everyone. I'm Molly Swiger, and welcome to this edition of the Butler Beat. Mike Keller is in the final months of his term as president of Butler Student Government Association. Mike is in the studio with me today to look back on his time in his office and what he and his administration accomplished, and any unfinished business there might be for the incoming SGA president, Craig Fisher. So Mike, thanks for being here today.
Well, thanks for having me, Molly.
All right, so you have been president for about a semester and a half now. So how are you feeling right about now about your presidency, and what have been some of the highlights for you?
Well, I'm absolutely amazed at how fast it has moved. The fact that we're already past the election to select the next SGA president just absolutely blows my mind. So it really kind of has started the point where I get to kind of look back on what all I have done. And I really have been very happy with a lot of what we've been able to accomplish in the time that I've kind of been in charge of things.
Good. So what did you set out to accomplish, and how has that been going for you?
Yeah, so it was on this very program even several months ago when I was talking about how we had the great opportunity of having the largest budget in the history of the student government because we've had the largest enrollment this year. And so that gave us a lot of opportunities to be able to do things with. And so we wanted to take a look first at our programming. What are we providing to the students? Is it something that they actually want, or is it more stuff that we feel obligated to do? So we really restructured how we go about selecting what programs to put on for students who might want to take part in these things. And as a result, average participation in those things are up about 50% at events. And then also with the larger resources we've had, we get to take more students as well. So that's been exciting to see that happen. We also reformed elections. I came off of what I would call a very chaotic election
Yes,
when I came into this office. And so we wanted to clear some things up and make things easier for people. And I think we did some positive changes for that. I do think we still have some work to go there, but we're definitely moving in the right direction as well. And then second, our final project that we're kind of working on that's going to carry on till about the end of my term. This hasn't been gotten a lot of public attention just yet because it's kind of just coming to fruition. But it's going to be a major structural renovation to the academic quad to increase a lot of outdoor soft space for students to take advantage of.
Wow.
So a lot of what students see in Starbucks patio, which is busy all the time if the weather's nice outside, we're going to try to move that and expand upon it to the academic quad so that area can be used as a place for people to study, socialize, or just enjoy nice weather.
Sounds great.
So, yeah, absolutely. I'm very excited to see that project start to come to fruition there.
Okay, so what would you say is your proudest accomplishment to date as SGA president?
I think just changing the overall mindset about having students think of SGA as being that abstract organization that puts on a lot of stuff to being the organization that they see as the vehicle for change around here. Our Council on Presidential Affairs, which puts on a lot of the they work with the administrations to provide a lot of the changes to things here. They've reported a noticeable increase in the amount of student complaints or ideas or things that they'd like addressed coming into them, which has allowed them to be able to really focus on what students want to change here. They said that those who've been on the board for multiple years say that this year they've had more of those than ever. And I think that was a major goal that my entire exec board had coming in here, was making sure people realize that everybody's a part of SGA, whether you're on a board or in the assembly, whatever. We represent all students, and we're there to relay your concerns.
Good. So how are students able to do that this semester? How are they able to relay those concerns more efficiently?
Well, the very first thing that we started at the start of the year was we created a web-based system called Fix My Butler. So we all walk around campus sometimes and just notice, like, man, I really wish they would fix that light, or this bathroom stall door has been broken for a month now and they don't ever seem to fix it. And so now we've created a whole web-based system where any student can log on and submit that in to facilities to be able to make it much easier for them to get that problem addressed as soon as possible.
Good. That's definitely good for students to know about that.
Yeah, I've used it several times myself even when I know things working.
Good. Well, maybe I will next time I'm in Jordan. What would you say has been the most rewarding part of being SGA president?
I have just absolutely loved being able to, in my position, I get invited to attend a lot of the student organizations, big events, or other things going on around the university. And so I've really had my eyes open to what all goes on around here, much more than I ever had before. And it's just absolutely amazing to see what the work that Butler students provide to what their passions are, You know, whether it be a great example is just this past weekend I went to a fundraiser for the Timmy Foundation. They sent me an invitation, and to see I was never a member of the Timmy Foundation, but to see how much work and how much passion people in that organization invest into that all was just absolutely moving. And that's probably not an opportunity I would have really had to see had I not had this position before.
Absolutely. Can you speak to any of those other events that you went to that you never knew a whole lot about?
Well, absolutely. So both SJ and non-SJ events, particularly Butler University Dance Marathon comes to mind right away just because it was so recently, and also they did so well, raising $128,000 for Riley Children's Hospital. But then also, more importantly, spending the day with them and seeing the people who plan that, putting in months of time to make it successful. It is just absolutely powerful to know that some people dedicate so much of their life, so much of their time here at Butler to making that be successful. I was just absolutely amazed. And obviously it paid off for them as well, how much they were able to raise.
Yeah, and that's great. So it's not all glamorous as SGA president. Can you speak to some of the things that are maybe the harder part, or maybe some of the unseen parts of your job that students don't know about?
Yeah, absolutely. So my job has two main components to it. So to start with, I get to oversee all the SGA, all 6 boards, as well as the assembly. That has a lot of demands, but it's not the hardest aspect by any means, because usually a lot of students are self-motivated and come in with a lot of ideas on their own that they get to work with. The much more difficult side of my job is focusing on working with the administration on how are they going to revise policy, how are they going to move the direction, change the direction of the university going forward, and make sure it's always focused on students. That's been challenging at times, particularly at the start of my term. There was a serious focus on alcohol policy and revising that, and everybody's got strong opinions on it, myself included. And so being in the roundtable discussions of all that was very difficult to kind of make people understand what a student's perspective is on all of this. And then, you know, as the time went on, debating about whether expanding the student body, the size of it, was a good move or not, and the best way to do that. And so that stuff is kind of challenging, just to try to convince people who are professionals in this to, you know, sort of listen to your opinion and take your ideas seriously. But largely, I think it's also been pretty successful as well.
Good, good. So when you speak with administration, can you tell us a little bit like who that is exactly, and just overall you received well, do you think, or? Yeah,
absolutely. It ranges from everybody from the chairman of the board of trustees to President Danko, all the way down to the dean of student life, Irene or Sally Click. So it really is a wide range of people. But I will say at Butler, we are very fortunate that most administrators do know to always include student representation before making any decision. And I do get asked my opinion quite a bit. And I find that to be a very positive thing that is good for everybody here at Butler.
Good. So to transition a little bit, flexibility is obviously a key part of your position. Did you find yourself in any situations this year where you really are like, oh, we're going to have to do something else? And did you have, can you recall
Yeah, absolutely. One of my biggest goals that I ran on and was so looking forward to implementing this year was I was not particularly happy with how our website was laid out and all the resources it provided. I thought we could do a lot more with it, especially when you compared what we have at Butler to other universities. That was a big goal of mine, a big focus. But as I started to delve into it, that actually is a lot more to that than what I was assuming. And so it was sort of a big goal that I had that I more or less had to scale down quite a bit to kind of make it within the realm of reality of what we could actually do here. So I do think we made some positive improvements to it, but it never became the sort of dream all access, everything in one place website that I had wanted.
Okay. How do you feel about the way SGA communicates with students on campus? So the SGA Assembly is made up of student representatives from clubs, and I've learned about some other governing bodies where they do it more like they have representatives from sections of the alphabet and whatnot. Do you think that we're representing students in the best way by having students that are already involved as a part of the?
I actually spent a large portion of my summer reaching all this, and actually I think we are about the only student government I could find that has a representative from every student organization making up its representative body. And as a result, we have a massive assembly of about 155 delegates or so, which is larger than most other schools, even the major ones. And so it has pros and cons with that. The pros are, you know, you're getting your message out and getting feedback from a large sample of the student body. So that's good to facilitate the discussion, and you know that you're not probably not leaving anybody out in a series like that. Kind of on the downside though, and if you would attend assembly, you'd realize this, is that there largely not a lot of very opinionated people who have assembly positions, and so as a result, there sometimes isn't this discussion that I think should be there, or the new ideas that are constantly brought up, because you have the people who do want to talk might be a little intimidated that there's 150 people listening, and then probably a larger majority of people who are more just there to fulfill the requirements.
Okay, yeah, I definitely can see that as a former representative myself. Yeah. Yes, I understand. What would you say, okay, so SGA obviously does a lot of programming for students,
For sure.
and you just mentioned all of those representatives from the clubs that we also have on campus, and we are a small student body, so what would you say about the fact that Butler is over-programmed? Is that a good thing? Is it a good problem to have? Do you think it's something maybe we should be looking at?
Well, it's very much characteristic of what we are as Butler. We're all students, even probably as far back as high school, who just loved to be busy and loved to be involved in as many things as possible. So it's natural that it was going to occur here at a university in that way. I do think, though, moving forward, it is in the benefit of student organizations to really look at how they can partner up with each other to do things. We have a handful of organizations that are their mission is to raise money for cancer research. American Cancer Society, Bulldogs Against Breast Cancer. Those are great examples that they could put on a lot of programming together and be able to get a lot more people involved, and also prevent the calendar from overflowing from all their individual events. And I think there'd be a lot of benefit from all of that. And so we've got to hear as an SGA exec this year, I believe as many as 12 new student organizations come and present to us for SGA approval. And every one of them, we remind them of how, you by all means have your independence after becoming a student organization, but do try to look at other places that you can partner up and do things together, because you'll have a much larger effect doing that than as opposed to everybody doing their own thing.
Yep, great. So Craig Fisher was elected SGA president. In closing, what remarks do you have for him? What advice do you have?
I would just say, Craig, you are in for the most fun and incredibly hectic year of your life. So I wish you absolutely the best of luck, and never forget that you are first and foremost the advocate for the students. So always check in with them, go to every meeting you can, every opportunity you have to be able to get their opinions, their feedback. That's going to make you a great president.
All right, thank you, Mike, so much for being on the segment of the Butler Beat, and thank you for watching this edition of the Butler Beat. Thanks for watching. I'm Molly Swigert.